Hey everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And today we're talking about our favorite movie soundtracks.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yes. So, I feel like we can't really even jump into this discussion without mentioning first Ennio Morricone. So he is a fantastic film score composer who died on July 6th at the age of 91, and he was still working right up until those last days. He has scored over 400 film and TV series over his life.
That's a busy career.
It is a very busy career, and lots of spectacular stuff. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was one of his early ones that was right away considered one of the most influential scores maybe ever, but certainly in the Western genre, where he started out, but that is by no means where he stayed. He did A Fistful of Dollars. That was, a more art house movie that had a lower budget. And so he sort of made a name for himself, a reputation. Those budget constraints forced him to be ultra creative, and he started working in things like gunshots into his score. It's not an orchestra. He didn't have a whole orchestra available to him, but he worked with what he had, and he worked with things that people hadn't really thought of before, really practical things that were already going to be part of the movie in the sound design, and he worked into his score. So I think that's really cool. He did Once Upon a Time in the West, which went on to be one of the best-selling movie soundtracks of all time. 10 million copies of that sold.
Wow.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That is very rare air.
Exactly. So he went from John Carpenter's The Thing to Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven. So that's a huge broad swing.
Yeah.
The latter of which did earn him his first nomination, but not his last. He was nominated for The Mission, for The Untouchables, for Bugsy, for Malena. And after being nominated so many times and never winning, the Academy in 2007 gave him an honorary Oscar, which they do to people who have made extraordinary contributions to film, but never quite won the Oscar, taken home the Oscar for it. So they gave it to him. He was only the second composer ever to receive an honorary Oscar. And it was a great honor. However, he was not ready to be counted out. He came back in 2016 and won a legitimate Oscar for The Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight. Have I said it right?
You have.
The Hateful Eight. It sounds weird to me, like I'm mixing up. Anyways, the Quentin Tarantino movie. So at that time, he was the oldest person to ever win an Oscar, a competitive Oscar. He was working right up until the end there. And he's influenced a great many people, composers of course, but even people from Metallica to Dire Straits, Radiohead, all list him as an influence. And Hans Zimmer, another very recognizable composer in the movie business, also considered him a huge influence.
That's a lot of big names that he influenced, who in turn have influenced a whole other slew, long list of people.
Exactly. So I feel like to start off this topic, we had to talk about him a little bit because, he is the sound of movies. And that's something we don't talk about nearly enough. Sometimes we take the score or the soundtrack for granted.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right, where the best scores kind of become part of the movie experience.
Exactly.
So you're not really noticing it on its own, but without it, the movie wouldn't be nearly as powerful.
Mm-hmm. So there is sort of a difference between a score and a soundtrack. So the score of a movie is the stuff that a composer comes in and, you may or may not notice, but it's just the gentle music that's playing underneath the scene. People are talking over it, or it's happening during action. And I think a good score means you don't really notice it, but it is definitely affecting you on another level.
It is. It's setting the mood. So whatever that is, if you're supposed to be tense and anxious, then that's what that movie is driving you towards. If you're supposed to feel some urgency, then it's hammering at you that something's going to happen. Yeah, it's just another cue, and it's really a huge part of the experience. It can be
very powerful, and sometimes we don't even realize how much we have internalized these things. And I think Sean and I have been laughing a little bit lately because we've been watching some movies with the subtitles on, and the subtitles will tell you what kind of music is playing. So those are kind of funny how they're described. Yes, exactly. So a soundtrack, which is often, you know, the album that a movie releases, often will include some pieces of score, but also the songs, like the recognizable songs with lyrics from a pop star, or sometimes a song that was written specifically for the movie. It will include those as well. So it depends what kind of movie you've seen. If you saw, what was that, Suicide Squad, that was just
one after the other.
100% montage of obnoxious pop music. Yes, that's right. Or, you know, the other side of that, like James Gunn and his Guardians, you know, he released the awesome volume mixtape, whatever it was called.
That's right, yeah.
The Totally Awesome Mixtape Volume 1. So those do set the tone of the movie. They certainly help in the marketing of a movie. If you have a great #1 song that's on the radio, it is a constant reminder for people to see that movie who may not have otherwise seen it. So we were just talking about Ennio Morricone, but now let's talk about John Williams, because he is the author of so many modern masterpieces. So the other day I was humming a little piece of his, and Sean said, "Are you humming Star Wars?" And I was like, "No, I am humming Darth Vader." And that is the magic of a really great score, is that John Williams wrote character cues. So you know the opening strains of a Star Wars movie, but those are different than the strains you hear when Darth Vader comes on scene.
They are.
He has his own, and a lot of characters have that. Jaws had his own.
Oh, that's great.
Right?
That's a wonderful example of John Williams.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Well, I love
Jurassic Park.
Jaws is a great example. I just want to take back to that.
Please.
Because of the interplay, and this is Spielberg and John Williams being two geniuses, how, spoiler if you don't know this already, there's a fake out at the beach where there is no shark, but people are panicking. And there's no music at that point. The music is only when Jaws is actually there, which is just cool. And it is that thing that you always know, that is instantly recognizable.
Yes, but it's something the first time you watched, you didn't know yet.
Yeah.
But now on the rewatch, now that we are, I mean, that is a cultural cue.
Yeah.
If you haven't even seen Jaws, you probably still know that music because it is referenced even outside of the movie, of course, because it's legendary.
Yeah.
So just thinking of Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones, there's so many movies. And I'm on film Twitter, so we talk about this stuff a lot there. And somebody was saying, like, nobody does this right now. Like, who is doing that right now? We had so many great ones in the 80s and 90s, but for me, I think Pixar has done a really great job of that. And I can think, if you just do the two little opening bars of Up, I'm already emotional. Like, I know that music, and so, like, you know, you hear it and you know, you're there. Monsters Inc. is another great one. I can hear that jingle
Toy Story.
Immediately, yes. So it is still happening, but the best scores, you don't necessarily notice them. But when you stop to think about it, that's in your head, and it has affected you.
Yeah.
There's a reason you can use those little tiny notes from Jaws. You could throw that in any scene, and you know they're telling you something as bad as coming.
Exactly. Yeah.
So AFI put out their list of what they think the top scores of all time are. At number 5, they have The Godfather, which I mean, you won't really argue about any of these. Number 4, Psycho. 3, Lawrence of Arabia. 2, Gone with the Wind, and number 1, Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to hear John Williams the old score come back into the new stuff that's recently been released.
It is. He came back and he did them all.
Yes.
And it really makes them, more than anything, that's what makes them a cohesive unit. The music is there, but it's different for the original trilogy and for the latest ones.
So it is just kind of cool because something swells in your heart when you hear that. And I think scent is known to be one of those very evocative cues that we don't think of, but so is sound. Yeah. So music in particular.
Exactly. We have a wiring in our heads where we can just remember songs.
Yes.
And that's, even if you can't remember what you were doing 10 years ago, if a song comes on, you can put yourself in that moment.
Yeah. So AFI has also put out a list of the biggest songs from movies. So, I mean, there are a million of these, and I know everyone will have their own opinion of what number 1 is, or what number 10 is, or what number 100 is.
But that's okay. This is a personal thing. This is really, I mean, there are a lot of iconic ones to choose from.
So according to AFI, number 10 is The Sound of Music. Julie Andrews, of course. I mean, it's hard to argue that.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I think you gotta put it on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Number 9, Staying Alive. Saturday Night Fever by the Bee Gees. That song, again, has been used by many other movies.
Yeah.
But to bring up that same kind of feeling.
Just walking on the street, getting ready to...
Feeling good,
That's right.
Yeah. The Way We Were, from the movie of the same name. Barbra Streisand. It's great when you have a talented singer in your movie who can provide that soundtrack for you. When You Wish Upon a Star, number 7. So that, very good, Sean. I was gonna say, I think a lot of people forget where that's from because actually Disney has used it as its song. Yes,
absolutely.
we hear it a lot, but we forget that actually it was from Pinocchio. So very good on you for even knowing that. That was performed by Cliff Edwards, or as he liked to be known, Ukulele Ike.
Ukulele Ike?
Yes, and in the movie, Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he sang that originally, but we all know it today, even if you've never seen Pinocchio. That song is inextricably linked to Disney.
Absolutely it is.
Number 6, Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah.
From The Graduate, Simon and Garfunkel.
Classic song that has also been reused either as a parody or to set the mood.
Yes, very much. Number 5, White Christmas. So again, we all know this song. It came from the movie A Holiday Inn with Bing Crosby.
Well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Exactly. But this song is bigger than the movie. It has eclipsed the movie, which, I mean, I think so did the Pinocchio song. It did become bigger than the movie. Number 4, Moon River. Remember Audrey Hepburn strumming that on her balcony in Breakfast with Tiffany's. Audrey Hepburn didn't have a great voice, so the people who wrote this specifically for her knew what they were doing. They found something that was just sort of soft and, you know, quietly lyrical, something that suited her quite well, and that is such a nice moment in the movie where we just spend time with her. It's
a classic song.
Yeah. Number 3, Singing in the Rain. Again, Gene Kelly. When you have a Gene Kelly in your movie, you better.
Yeah, and that one itself is really, it's a classic song, but it's that whole sequence that you can picture in your head.
Oh my gosh, 1000% yes. It reminds me of, this is a weird reference, but Tom Holland did actually, on that, what's it called, that song where they lip sync battle, I think?
Oh, yeah.
He did Rihanna's Under My Umbrella. So that video really references the raining, the umbrella, the singing in the streets when it's raining. And he did such a good number with that. It was really impressive. You forget that kid has skills.
He's so talented.
Yes. Number 2, As Time Goes By. So that is from the movie Casablanca. It's actually like hard to say whether that song has eclipsed the movie because it does have its own life, but obviously the movie is still super big time too. And number 1, according to AFI, is Over the Rainbow, the Wizard of Oz
that's hard to argue with
sung by
too.
Julie Garland. Yes. It is such a great song. It is impossible to imagine the world without it. Like,
and again, it's tied to that movie. It stands on its own, but it takes you back to that.
Yeah. And that's from 1939, right? So that was a long time ago, way before most of us were even born or our parents were born.
Yep.
And yet, everybody knows that song.
Absolutely.
So that is what a really great song can do. I think for me, I was trying to think like what songs do I really remember from movies that I loved, and I thought about Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, because of course Marilyn did that in Gentlemen Preferred Blondes, but it has again been used in so many other movies. It was reused in Moulin Rouge by Nicole Kidman, and very recently, and I thought this was an excellent scene in Birds of Prey. Margot Robbie did that.
That was really
Harley
good.
Quinn, yes, I loved that
Nice
little
touch.
scene. Ooh, it was a nice touch. Of course, we cannot talk about this list without mentioning Celine Dion. Celine Dion and My Heart Will Go On. That
Titanic.
song you're probably still mad at to this day, but it was the epitome of romance in, what was it, 97?
97. Yep.
Yes.
All of 97. It might have gone into 98.
Well, it did, because I think that movie came out in December, so it definitely went on.
All right, then all of 98. It might have
It
gone to
went
99.
On and on. As far as her heart went, so did the song. Unchained Melody from Ghost.
Oh yeah, the classic scene
Very
where they're
classic,
making the
right?
clay. Yeah.
And Born to Be Wild from Easy Rider.
Yeah.
You know what, that is such a great scene, an iconic scene, of course. And it really, you do kind of feel that rumble, through the song. It's kind of great. Fight Power.
Yeah.
So great. I mean, Spike Lee has got to use and Do the Right Thing. I mean, the movie starts with that song.
That's right, with like a dance.
Yes, it is establishing itself right away. And it's just, I mean, it's strong, it's evocative, and we know what this movie is going to bring. And it's going to bring it. I Will Always Love You.
Yeah.
We had that tape stuck in our van.
And you probably
so
would
we
get
heard
in
that
mind.
song a whole lot.
Yeah.
So that's a Whitney Houston who starred
Bodyguard.
in The Bodyguard.
Yeah. And that again is another thing that's been referenced and parodied repeatedly.
That's right.
As he's carrying her away.
That is actually a Dolly Parton song. And, she seems to have no jealousy whatsoever of Whitney making it such a huge hit. I think she gave the props where they were due, and Whitney certainly had lots of great songs, but this one really
This is near the
was
top
a great
as far
vocal
as
sort of exposition for her, but it was also so well tied to the movie and the romance of it.
Yeah.
Hard not to love that one. And of course, because I'm a super nerd, old time rock and roll from Risky Business.
Yeah.
Little Tommy Cruise in his underwear.
That's right, sunglasses.
Yeah. So, but most of those songs are older now, right?
Yeah.
Those movies. So I looked up the biggest selling soundtracks from the 21st century. And right away we have Garden State, which I think now we would like to
I had that CD.
Everybody
That
did.
was a big
It
deal.
was the emo CD.
Just some indie songs before
Yes.
indie was a big thing.
Yes, that's right. Zach Braff was flexing on how cool he was.
For one shining moment.
Yes. The Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, that is a great soundtrack.
Yeah, well, you know who's very good at good soundtracks.
You're right.
He really is. And that was a primo example. Of course, Baby Driver will be on this list a little bit later,
Yeah.
because that is a very good one as well. And not always the obvious songs, I think. He, found interesting ones that you have not seen car chases set to before, and yet wrote to the music. So High Fidelity, of course.
Yeah, that is a movie
about music snobbery.
With a great music soundtrack.
Yes.
It is, you can argue with their list because that's what the point is, but they make some great choices.
Yes. Almost Famous.
Yes, that is another one where the music is so important, even though they're following a fictional band in the movie.
That's right.
But of course, the Elton John, Tiny Dancer, right?
Yes, that's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah. Very good. And Life Aquatic.
Oh yeah, that is a really cool take.
It is. I really enjoy those songs. As you know, I'm a Life Aquatic girl.
And Wes Anderson is another guy who we can put up along with Edgar Wright, of someone who always uses music really well in new ways, and in Life Aquatic by having covers.
So cool. Okay, so what are the best-selling soundtracks of all time?
There's an obvious one that I should come up with right away, and I can't do it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start at number 12 instead of 10, just because this seems like it might have been number 1, and it's not. It's number 12, Frozen. That song.
Oh, yeah.
Major earworm. It was everywhere. If you hadn't seen the movie, you still knew every word of the song. If you were a parent of a kid that age, God bless you, because I don't know how you got through it. Real big, that song. But still, only number 12.
Yeah, I think that's a product of its era in a way, where if that had come out in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, that would have sold 40 million CDs.
Yes. And a lot of stuff I see now, they're like album equivalents. We do them now, so
it's kind of fuzzy.
It is a little fuzzy. But anyways, number 11, The Big Chill.
Yeah.
That one was definitely
80s.
music heavy.
Yeah.
Number 10, Flashdance.
Yes, another classic 80s movie.
Number 9, Space Jam.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
We've been talking about that movie a little bit.
Yeah, we have been.
I named my favorite song, and you had already guessed 2 other humongous songs, and it wasn't even that one. So clearly, these were singles. At least 3 singles that had videos came off of this soundtrack.
That's right.
Perhaps the soundtrack even bigger than the movie.
Yeah, I think in a way it could be, because it was a mainstream crossover for a lot of these hip-hop or R&B groups.
Yes. Number 8, Waiting to Exhale. So that was another Whitney Houston one. And I had this one for sure.
Oh, I didn't.
Number 7, Grease.
Yeah, I think that's the one I was thinking of.
Okay, yeah, it's there. Number 6, Titanic.
Yes,
again. There, yep. Number 5, Dirty Dancing.
Yep.
Sure. 4, Forrest Gump. I had
that one too.
Yeah,
because it was everything. It was a double CD of all of the classic
every era.
songs.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. Number 3, Purple Rain.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Prince at his peak.
Absolutely. Number 2, Saturday Night Fever.
Again, yeah.
And number 1, The Bodyguard. So Whitney is up there twice in the top 10.
I thought Saturday Night Fever was still number 1.
So we have gotten through all of this wonderful soundtracky goodness. We have not barely touched on it as far as what our real favorite songs are, because there are so many. There really are. So we will wrap it up here. But stay tuned. Because next we're going to talk about the soundtracks that we listen to right here in our house.
All the time.
Yes. You will probably not be surprised to know that we listen to a lot of movie soundtracks. I mean, we listen to a lot of music generally. But movie soundtracks are definitely
on the turntable. Rotation.
That's right. So let us know what your favorite score moments are, what your favorite movie songs are. Gosh, so many.
So many to choose from.
So many.
We could go on for days.
We could go on for days, and we have. So we're doing you a favor by stopping us there. But thank you so much for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.